Well, good morning. This morning we are going to start out with one of my admittedly favorite jobs, and that's sarcasm, by the way. Me and Carol both dislike glue ups. And it's really kind of funny because it's not hard work or anything. It's just you're working with sticky stuff, I think, is you end up getting your hands all sticky and even using alcohol and dish detergent, the stickiness lingers for a few hours until it wears off. But neither one of us really enjoy this job. It's not bad. I mean, a lot of what we do is a lot. It's the word I'm looking for. Harder work, I guess. Uh, by the way, today is January 4th, 2023. Can you believe that already? Seems like we were just setting up Christmas stuff. And before you know it, the Christmas stuff is down and we're into a new year. Year by year, we've been setting up earlier, but we also get it back down earlier too. Usually somewhere around December 31st, January 1st. Not necessarily for any unfestive reason or anything like that. It's just the day off. I mean, it's the one day that you have to climb up in the loft and get the boxes down and pack everything up. And, because you're back to work on the first, or, well, we are. I suppose most people have it off. But we, we don't generally abide by many of the holidays, actually. We tend to work holidays and celebrate the holidays on off, you know, on not holiday days. We do the same with birthdays too for some reason. Oh, I wonder what this one is because it's sticking out on both ends. I am hoping that's a crochet hook. Also, you'll watch the drilling video hopefully before this. Neither of these videos, well, this one obviously, but the drilling video is not released. I still got to edit. But in drilling, this is one of the last ones I did, and you'll notice I had a fitment problem. And what I ended up doing was actually drilling it oversized. So I've got a bit of a gap there. That side's not as bad. This side's got a bit of a gap. But what we'll do is when this epoxy cures and before I turn it, I'll CA around the tube and seal all that. It'll be fine. But I drilled it one size oversized. I'm not really sure what I used, but I think it was like an 8. I went to standard measurement, whatever's after 8 millimeter. Anyway, Carol's good at the sit and chat, so I'm not much at chit chat. I just basically focus on what I'm doing. I can't just spontaneously speak, I guess is the word, the phrase. I remember being in community college and we had some kind of English class. I'm not sure what it was, but I had to stand in front of that class and give an oral report. And it was funny because there wasn't that many people in the class either. There's only about 15 of us, and I'm I'm sort of antisocial the older I get, but when I was young, I was social. I partied and I had no problem talking to people, and the 15 people in that class, we'd spend time on breaks and that and talk to everybody and on a friendly basis with everybody. But man, I got up in front of that class and I had to give a report of prepared material and I froze. My brain just went blank and I just stood there. Yeah, it's an argument. Do you speak spontaneously off the cuff, or do you prepare your material with, word for word, have the outline, know what you're going to say, or something in between? And I think that's my problem is I'm a planner. I'm very organized. Oh, I don't want to lose that. I'm very organized and such, and it's like making these videos. You have an idea of topics you want to cover, but then as you're making the video, you kind of forget. I debated on this video. I honestly did not want to make this video. And the reason is that I do a lot of gluing up, especially on my Project Friday videos when I'm doing those kind of projects. But I've also done one or two glue up videos for special projects for work. And my thinking, do people really want to watch this? And then you start thinking along the lines of, well, do I do it real time or do I just do it fast forward speed? 4 times speed. And then if you're doing that, well, what do you do for narrative? Because obviously you can't record as you're doing it because you just hear blah, 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 all the way through the video. And you can slow the soundtrack down in the editor, but then you're out of sync. So the answer to that is you do a voiceover. You fast forward through it, but then what am I doing? I want to glue the hole. Then the action's going so fast that and you're still watching the unedited video with the action rolling by, trying to think of what you want to say as you're watching it in 4 times speed. And I'm like, well, that's not good either. I watch some gaming channels, pretty much farm simulator channels on YouTube. And I watch one guy, Mr. Sealy P. And Mr. Sealy P actually does pretty good. He's right at 100,000 subscribers, which is the magic number on YouTube. 1,000, you get monetized. 1,000 subscribers is the magic number. But then once you get going, once you hit 100,000, you get your silver play button. You're sort of a successful channel at that point. And he's right on the cusp of that. But what's annoying is as I'm watching him, today I'm watching a video and he's apologizing for the video that he's making. And, well, I don't know what people want to watch and I'm trying to please everybody. And I'm thinking to myself, that's a bad tactic for YouTube. And I find myself falling into that trap. Well, what do you want to watch? Well, the reality is people that watch YouTube are all across the board. I mean, I don't even know who my audience is. We have such a diverse selection of videos. I don't know who's watching what or why. And the analytics certainly don't help because there's no rhyme or reason to it, really. We released a customer review video this morning on a letter opener, and that video has gone into hundreds of views. Why? Why that one? And I'll make a video that I think is very interesting. That it's like, I'm proud of this video, it's good material, and I get 3 views. I think if you're gonna do YouTube, and I'm not gonna call myself a YouTube creator because I'm not. I'm just dabbling in this. Our channel has sort of a different purpose than a monetized, what most people would create a YouTube channel for. We're not looking to make a successful channel and make money. I mean, if it happens, that's great. I mean, the more subscribers, the better, of course. We're not, doing this just to kill time. But our primary motive for this is as a platform for our business and for our customers who are interested in watching their pens get created and maybe getting an insight into what we do. And as a personal goal, I would like to reach people that are thinking about starting their own business, and what actually is involved in a business like this. But back to Mr. Sealy P, he's apologizing for making long-winded videos of him driving around a map. Well, the thing is, that's what people are watching. So when you think it's boring, and it's like, well, people just don't want to watch me drive around a map, there's, nothing exciting about that, but that is what people are watching. That's why they're watching it. I don't know why people would watch this. I do the same thing, though. I'm falling into that trap, and I like watching electronics channels. And one of my favorites is a guy named X-Ray Tony B. And he's sort of like doing what we're doing. He's not in it for the money. He's not trying to create a successful channel or worried about analytics. He's simply sharing his love of what he's doing. And he enjoys filming it. And, he does a lot of sit-and chats and just slow action. And, another YouTube thing is common wisdom is you want to keep your videos around, well, I don't know what the exact figure is, but let's just say under 20 minutes seems to be. But I'm the type of person, I like to watch videos that are hour long, depending on what the subject matter is. So I don't want to fall into that trap on my own videos of selling my viewers short, basically. Mr. Sealy P made the comment that, he was a school teacher and he understands that today the attention span of people is like 30 seconds. And that's true. It's one of the downfalls of our society is that we've actually hit that point. I had to repaint this one. It should be dry enough now, though. But people like TikTok. I mean, people like to be entertained for 15 seconds at a time and move on. But I don't think everybody's like that. And I think that sells short a lot of people that are watching extended YouTube videos. I think an older generation, my generation and a generation older, I think a lot of us tend to want to be entertained more than just a frivolous 15 seconds of a midget dancing on a table. Somebody doing a shuffle dance. And I'm not saying that I have exciting content or I'm somebody that you really need to listen to. No, I'm just your average person. But I guess what I'm trying to say, though, is I don't want to sell my viewers short that, somebody might be interested in just sitting and watching me glue up. So I'm not going to apologize for it. And I decided to make a full-length video. I don't know how long this is going to take. I'm on my last tray here, actually. So this is what I got left. I'm going to swap these trays out and try to keep them somewhat separated for Carol. So that was the first tray I drilled. Let me get some of this dust off of this, off camera. And I got to mix some more epoxy. We'll get some clean toothpicks too. Anyway, I am sort of rambling on with no rhyme or reason. I'm just blabbing. And I'm not a, especially this day and age, I'm not a very social person. I don't entertain or talk to a lot of people. I'm sort of the quiet, back of the house type person. I always have been, really. I worked a lot of service jobs through my life, mostly fast food restaurants, Red Lobster. And I've worked, both front of the house and running registers and talking to people and dealing with customers and, back of the house doing the cooking and prep. And I've always just gravitated toward the back of the house. I guess the phrase in the service industry. I've always preferred the jobs, warehouse jobs or just stuff that people would leave you alone, not mess with you. You could just do your job, get it done, and go home. That's so. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Yeah, one of the clinching reasons I decided to make this a full length. Well, two factors really, but the main factor. Oh, I just bumped. Sorry about that. I'm working around the camera mount. I just bumped you. The main reason is that Patrick got us a set of lavalier mics for Christmas, and I've been dying to try them out. Actually already used them on a couple videos, just kind of behind the scenes, for a couple real fast things. As a matter of fact, our introductory little clip on the beginning of all our videos now that me and Carol made, that actually, the sound of the lathe, we used the lavalier mic for that and patched it in, learned how to set up the editor and set it all up. But anyway, I really have been wanting to try these mics out in a video, learn how to use them, and do a voiceover. And, well, it's not a voiceover technically. I am talking real time here as I'm doing this, but to mic up and actually use a microphone instead of having to yell at a camera. I'm kind of curious how the audio track's gonna be on this, how much difference it's gonna make. But anyway, that was the first motivating factor. But then the second factor was that honestly, this has been slow through December, November, and December, and I don't really have as much to glue up this round as I usually do. Usually, I have 3 or 4 trays that are full, and I mean, I will sit back here for a couple hours. And there's no way I'm going to put out a video that long. I don't care how entertaining I am or how long, somebody wants. That's just too long to watch somebody see you're gluing up tubes. But this one, I figured I could probably get this done in 30, 40 minutes. I don't know. We'll see how long this runs. But I'm not going to apologize. You're the viewer. You determine what you want to watch. If you don't want to watch it, turn it off. you know, and that's sort of where you know, especially people that leave comments. We call them trolls on the internet. The troll comments. Oh, you're just too long-winded. You need to shut it. Well, you know what? Turn it off. If you don't like the guy, turn it off. Why are you watching it? Why do you got to comment and be stupid about it? If I don't like something, I don't watch it. I don't have to leave nasty comments that I don't like it. It's one thing to be constructive and offer suggestions. Oh, well, your audio level is too low. We couldn't hear what you were saying. Well, okay, that's something I can learn from and maybe try to correct. But, well, you talk too much. turn it off, mute it. A lot of people like the what do they call it? ASMR videos. I don't know what that even stands for. Something sensory, but basically videos that show something with just the sound of the work and no real narration or just And I get it. I like that in woodworking channels, especially the people that use the traditional tools like the hand planes and the hand saws and just shut up and work and just I like to listen to the sound of the tool on the wood. I get it. I wonder if I don't have some of that going on of people watching my real time turning videos that we've been doing. Maybe some people just like to spend their time watching something get turned. And honestly, I don't do a lot of narration on those. Well, number one, I'm wearing headphones and listening to music most of the time, but I don't want to talk over the dust collector and the lathe. And honestly, I would just do what I'm doing here and just babble on endlessly about nothing in particular. And it's like, I don't know. Just shut up and work. I'm actually surprised I've kept this narrative going like I have. I'm out of things to say. What do you talk about? How's your day? So what have you been up to lately? Kind of a one-sided conversation. What is it like to have a business like this and be in the business? Oh man, that must be awesome. You get cake work. You can work from the house and work when you want. You don't feel like working. Today you don't have to work. You get to do some fun things like turn stuff all day long. Yeah. It's like any other job. And you get the people thinking, well, you just don't understand what it's like to go in and have to work 8, 9 hours, in a McDonald's. Yeah, I do. That's what I've been doing all my life. Absolutely, I understand being a slave to your job. And yeah, I get it. And that's one of the beauties of what we're doing here is I'm working for myself. And but anybody that thinks that this is an easy ride, I mean, I don't know that it's true, but sometimes you get the sense that people think, well, I'm just going to buy a lathe and make a ton of money. Well, number one, you're not going to make a ton of money. Any business is like that you start. The more business that you do, the more expenditures that you have. And, it's sort of a balancing act. I worked for a lot of family owned businesses, even from a real young age. And I knew, even from 16, 17 years old, that that's what I wanted in life was just to work for myself and have a family business. That was always my goal. And I worked for a upholstery company, French's South Lake Interiors in Claremont, Florida. And they're no longer in business. And this was in the late 80s, early 90s. And I was a ripper. We did household furniture. And we did a lot of upscale work for people in Orlando, Florida. We did Arnold Palmer. We did some work for him. We did Duncan was the president of Sunbank Systems at the time. We worked for them. Just a lot of upscale work. But we did like household furniture. And I would help with the deliveries and the pickups, help Mike in the van. And then we'd go into the shop. I was responsible for basically ripping the old coverings off of the furniture, saving them as patterns a lot of the time, fixing the wood, uh, retying springs, putting up the webbing on the bottoms, just that kind of thing, stripping the wood. But one of the things on a delivery with Mike one day, we were talking, and something that stuck with me my whole life, and I call it the French's theory of business. He said that him and his dad, working out of the garage, were making more money in pocket, take home pay, were making more money than their business was doing now, with a rented building, all the overhead, paying. They had what, two seamstresses? They were paying me, and then the family that ran the place. The two sons, the mom and dad were all working, and they were sort of on a payroll. I mean, it's not how we work. We basically don't separate our business profits, and we don't have a check basically. You know, we just, this business isn't big enough. But the way they were running it, they actually paid themselves, checks. But with all the business they were doing, and they were really busy. I mean, we had furniture was piled up in the entrance to that it was nonstop. But he said that him and his dad were making more money working out of their garage, just the two of them, with no overhead. That's an important principle. And it's something that we keep in mind with what we're doing here. I mean, while you want to grow and expand, and you want to build something, you got to keep in the back of your head that you want to keep the overhead down too. Just a little rabbit trail I went down. Just what is it like being in business? What do you concentrate on? Sometimes being a little slower is a blessing in disguise, because your take home, your profit might be a little greater at that point. Can I work when I want to work? Well, certainly, it's my business. But here's the deal: I've got work to do. I can't just wake up 3 days a week and say, "Oh, I don't feel like working today. I'm gonna take the day off and go fishing." That doesn't. If you're not motivated to get the job done, you don't need to be in business for yourself. Now, if you're doing it as sort of an extended hobby, and if you're making 20 pens a month and selling them on Etsy to make a little extra pocket money, well, great, that works for you. But I mean, if you want to seriously try to make a living off of it, I mean, quite frankly, at this point, with the economy the way it is, you might be better off working at Aldi's or McDonald's. You're working for the man at that point, but you don't have any worries. You go in, you do your thing, and you go home. It takes a special personality to actually own their own business and run a business. You got to be motivated to get the job done. It doesn't go away. You can't. And you hear people say that all the time. It's almost like a cliche. Well, you can't walk away from it. It's with you 24/7. Even me, I'm not as bad as what Carol is. And it would seem to the bystander that I'm doing the brunt of the work. Well, I'm doing the mechanical stuff. I'm doing the turning. I'm doing the skilled labor part of it. But I can shut down at night. When I'm done, I'm done. 5, 6 o'clock, I turn off the lathe, turn out the lights, and I'm done. And I go play Farming Simulator, or work on electronics, or just do something. Carol is stuck with it basically 24/7. She's monitoring the computer. She's ordering stuff. There's just all kind of stuff going on. You don't even realize until you start doing it. Am I trying to talk anybody out of it? Absolutely not. I mean, it certainly has its benefits and its upside. And I'm doing what I want to do, and quite honestly, I enjoy what I do. I don't want to quit doing it. I hopefully foresee doing this for, I mean, the next few decades would be a blessing. But anybody that thinks they're just going to buy a lathe and start raking in money, I got news for you. This is like anything else, though. You get out what you put in. Hopefully, things go right. You make a good product. People want to buy. Something else. I mean, I guess with working for the man, you always got to worry about losing your job and getting laid off. But, likewise, what happens when the bottom falls out of this? What happens when the economy finally tanks? And I don't know. You're not really any better off than the next guy when you think about it. It's a worry that we all face. I guess you can't worry about it too much. You just keep on. Keep on doing what you're doing. Anyway, well, you can see my glue's thickening up. I thought initially I mixed too much, and I do have a little excess here, but I'm glad I mixed what I did. It is certainly thickening up. Anyway, last one. Not bad. We did it in two runs of glue. So the plan is I will let this sit inside the house for the next day or two and let it cure real good. And then we'll jump on to special projects for this round. All right, let me wipe my fingers off if I'm going to be touching the camera and the mic. And I'm not going to make you sit and watch me clean up, so I guess that is all for now. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.